The Science of NMG, The Science of NMG, a doctrine for expansion and power. Preface. This is a book about expansion. Its purpose is not to entertain, persuade, or reassure. Its purpose is to state a law. Life expands, and those who align with that law rise. This book is written for those who feel the pressure to become more, not louder or more visible, but more capable, more grounded, and more effective. It is written for those who sense that remaining as they are is not neutral, and that shrinking is a quiet form of decline. Nothing in this book requires genius, privilege, connections, or favorable conditions. It does not depend on luck, timing, or belief in abstract forces. It requires only that you recognize a simple reality. Wherever life exists, it expands. Expansion is not random. Power is not accidental. Wealth is not a lottery. Influence is not granted. These are produced by system. That system can be learned, understood, and applied. The world already demonstrates this truth. Cities, industries, roads, machines, institutions, sciences, and civilizations were not created by chance. They were built by individuals who expanded. Some understood the process consciously. Others applied it instinctively. All followed the same law. This book presents that system plainly. It asks nothing of you except that you stop apologizing for your desire to grow. Once you accept your right to expand, the rest becomes practical. Chapter 1. The Right to Expand. You are meant to expand. The desire to become more is not a flaw, a moral failure, or an inconvenience to be managed. It is the essential principle of life expressing itself through the individual. Wherever life appears, it expands. A seed becomes a tree becomes a forest, a settlement becomes a city. Life advances, occupies, and builds. It takes territory and raises structure upon it. Human beings are not exempt from this law. The urge to rise, to build, to improve, to gain wealth, to grow influence, and to create is not cultural conditioning. It is nature operating through you. Life does not apologize for its expansion, and neither should you. There is no virtue in shrinking. There is no nobility in remaining small. No species survives by becoming weaker, poorer, or less capable. Only expansion preserves life. Only advancement fulfills it. You therefore possess not only a right to expand, but a duty. Civilization advances only as individuals advance. Societies rise only when men and women take ground and build upon it. But expansion is not random. Power is not accidental. Wealth is not a matter of chance. There is a system by which life expands, and those who learn and apply it rise, while those who ignore it stagnate or decline. This book exists to explain that system. Chapter 2. The Will to Command. Expansion begins with command. Nothing expands without direction, and nothing of value is built without a will to build it. Before you can change circumstances, you must command yourself. Before you can influence the world, you must govern your own conduct, decisions, habits, and time. Most people never expand because they never command. They wait, hope, ask, explain, and negotiate with conditions. Life does not expand through negotiation. It expands through decision. Decision is the first act of power. Nothing in life moves for a person who cannot decide. Indecision keeps you small because it keeps you still. A person who cannot decide cannot advance. The will to command does not mean ruling over others. It means ruling over yourself, your attention, your actions, your priorities, and your direction. Without self-command, nothing else follows. A person who cannot command their mornings cannot command their future. A person who cannot command their thoughts cannot command their wealth. A person who cannot command their work cannot command their destiny. Command liberates. It frees you from the tyranny of chance, mood, fear, and external urgency. Order does not arise spontaneously. It is imposed by will. The will to command requires no permission. No one must approve. No one must understand. Command precedes approval, opportunity, and fortune. To wait for permission is to place your destiny in the hands of others. Life rewards those who command themselves to advance. Chapter 3. The Mind that Engineers. The will to command initiates expansion, but desire alone cannot build. Expansion requires construction. Dreams do not become reality through wishing, they become reality through engineering. The engineering mind observes the world as it is, identifies the mechanics of progress, and organizes resources toward a defined end. It accounts for cost, time, sequence, and constraint. Without these, ambition remains fantasy. Those who fail to engineer fail to expand. They may possess desire and imagination, but without structure they remain dreamers. Life does not reward dreams. It rewards construction. Engineering treats obstacles as solvable. It breaks difficulty into components, sequences action, and converts the impossible into the inevitable through steps. Structure is the difference between wanting something and making it. A person with structure rises. A person without it drifts. The engineering mind recognizes that the world is made of systems. Wealth is a system. Influence is a system. Mastery is a system. Civilization itself is a system. Those who understand systems rise within them or build their own. Engineering brings the future into the present through construction. The commanding mind chooses the destination. The engineering mind builds the bridge. Chapter 4. The Invincible Mind. The invincible mind is the faculty that does not retreat. It persists in motion and therefore becomes difficult to defeat. Most people retreat long before they are defeated. They retreat from discomfort, boredom, judgment, uncertainty, and the fear of appearing foolish. But life expands only through those who advance despite discomfort. Discomfort is not a signal of error. It is the cost of expansion. To be invincible does not mean never losing. It means never stopping. No one can defeat a person who continues to advance. Time itself multiplies the advantage of persistence. The invincible mind treats obstacles as part of the path, not as reasons to abandon it. Difficulty is not impossibility. Difficulty is often confirmation that the territory is worth claiming. The world belongs to those who advance. Chapter 5. The System of Three Minds. Expansion requires the integration of three faculties: the commanding mind that decides, the engineering mind that constructs, and the invincible mind that advances. Without command, there is no direction. Without engineering, there is no structure. Without invincibility, there is no continuity. Most people attempt to expand using only one or two of these faculties and fail accordingly. Those who command and advance without engineering become reckless. Those who engineer and advance without command drift. Those who command and engineer without invincibility retreat. Success results from the system, not the parts. When these three minds operate as one, the individual becomes formidable. The system is repeatable, transferable, and reliable. It replaces chance with design. Chapter 6. The Field of Opportunity. The world contains more opportunity than ever before. Opportunity increases as complexity increases. Complexity excludes the untrained, leaving room for those willing to understand. The belief that opportunity is scarce is an illusion created by comparison and ignorance. Opportunity is plentiful. What is scarce is the ability to perceive it and the will to pursue it. Opportunity follows expansion. Wherever technology, population, need, or capability increases, new frontiers emerge. Those who see life as a frontier claim these spaces. Those who see it as finished compete for scraps. The unclaimed is vast. Expansion belongs to those who build rather than ask. Chapter 7. The Error of Competition. Most people attempt to rise through competition. They seek advantage by taking from others, by outperforming rivals within existing structures, or by fighting for territory that is already claimed. Competition is the philosophy of scarcity. It assumes that the world is finished and that advancement requires displacement. Competition confines effort to crowded ground. It locks individuals into existing roles, markets, identities, and reward systems. Nothing of lasting significance is built on crowded ground. Expansion requires open territory. Creation is superior to competition. Competition divides and consumes. Creation multiplies and expands. Competition fights for what exists. Creation builds what does not yet exist. Those who compete are limited by the size of the existing structure. Those who create are limited only by capability and time. Competition has a place, but only after creation. Builders operate upstream. They define the terrain on which others later compete. Those who build write the rules. Those who compete obey them. To expand, you must refuse to limit yourself to the competitive plane. Creation frees you from resentment, anxiety, and reactivity. It places you in alignment with the law of expansion. Chapter 8. Expansion without permission. Expansion requires no permission. Life does not ask to grow. Seeds do not request approval from the soil. Trees do not apply for authorization to reach upward. The natural world expands according to function, not consent. The belief that permission is required to expand is learned. It is cultural, not natural. Children do not ask permission to crawl, walk, or speak. They expand until corrected. Over time, many are conditioned to believe that growth must be sanctioned. Ask yourself who you believe must grant you permission to expand, and why you believe they possess that authority. Expansion is not a license. It is an exercise of function. Those who wait for permission rarely receive it. Those who expand first and succeed are later praised for doing what others hesitated to attempt. Approval follows proof, not intention. Authority follows expansion, not the reverse. In a world where most people wait, hesitation is defeat. Expansion without permission is not rebellion. It is obedience to the law of life. Chapter 9. The law of irreversibility. Once true expansion occurs, it does not return to its prior form. Life does not move backward. The world does not devolve into earlier versions of itself. Once a city exists, the field does not reclaim it. Once electricity exists, candles do not resume dominance. The same law applies to individuals. Once knowledge, capability, wealth, or influence expands, contraction becomes unnatural and painful. Expansion establishes a new equilibrium. The invincible mind understands irreversibility. It advances in such a way that retreat becomes undesirable or impossible. This is not spectacle. It is structure. Lives fail when they are designed with exits everywhere. The slightest discomfort triggers withdrawal. Irreversibility removes hesitation. It forces creativity, discipline, and resourcefulness. You become what you refuse to retreat from. Chapter 10. Territory and domain. Expansion seeks territory. Territory is the space in which influence, capability, or creation operates. It may be physical, economic, intellectual, social, or artistic. Territory is external. Domain is internal. Territory without domain cannot be held. Domain without territory cannot express itself. Expansion requires both. Those who refuse to claim territory remain small regardless of capability. Capability without claim is unrealized power. To claim territory requires initiative. To hold it requires development. To expand it requires mastery. The unclaimed is vast. Those who understand this do not fear expansion. They recognize it as natural. Chapter 11. Power and responsibility. Power is the capacity to shape reality. Responsibility is the willingness to carry the consequences of shaping it. The world does not distribute power to those who flee responsibility. Power without responsibility destroys. Responsibility without power suffocates. Their union produces stability and progress. Those who avoid responsibility shrink. They retreat from decisions and blame circumstances. Blame is the philosophy of the powerless. Responsibility is the philosophy of the expanding. You can measure your destiny by what you are willing to be responsible for. Chapter 12. Wealth as force. Wealth is not an accumulation of possessions. It is a concentration of force. It is the ability to convert intention into reality through resources. Money is one form of wealth, but not the only one. Time, knowledge, capability, relationships, and access are also forms of wealth. All amplify expansion. Wealth is not to be hoarded. Hoarding is defensive. Deployment is expansive. The wealthy are not those who possess the most, but those who can do the most. Wealth flows toward those who can use it. It does not remain with those who fear it. Chapter 13. Influence as structure. Influence is not persuasion, charm, or popularity. Influence is structure. It is the degree to which reality bends in response to your presence, capability, and decisions. A person of influence alters outcomes, not opinions alone. Most people misunderstand influence because they observe only its surface forms. True influence operates beneath visibility. It shapes what others consider possible, reasonable, or inevitable. It alters trajectories without announcement. Influence emerges from reliability, contribution, and expansion. People align with those who build, who follow through, and who take responsibility. They trust those whose actions produce results. Influence is earned through consistency, not claimed through declaration. Titles do not confer influence. Titles without capability are decorations. Influence without title moves systems, decisions, and futures. Those who expand gain influence because expansion creates gravity. Do not pursue influence directly. Pursue capability, responsibility, and expansion. Influence follows as a consequence. Chapter 14. Orders of the Day. The commanding mind organizes life through orders. Without orders, days dissolve into drift. Drift is the opposite of expansion. Most people wake without directive. They wait for mood, circumstance, or urgency to decide their actions. Mood is unreliable. Circumstance is external. Urgency belongs to others. Orders reclaim time. Orders of the day are decisions made in advance. They convert intention into action and eliminate hesitation. They are not suggestions, they are commands. Effective orders are clear, limited, and actionable. Too many orders paralyze. Too few produce nothing. The purpose of orders is not to fill time, but to direct it. Priority is the art of choosing the necessary over the trivial. A person who cannot prioritize cannot expand. Expansion requires that the essential be executed and the non-essential ignored. Destiny is not built from inspiration. Destiny is built from executed orders. Chapter 15. Work that raises destiny. Work is the application of effort toward a chosen end. Not all work raises destiny. Some work preserves survival. Some maintains comfort. Some merely occupies time. Work that raises destiny expands capability, territory, or wealth. It advances the individual toward the person they intend to become. It compounds rather than consumes. Effort without direction is labor. Effort with direction is building. The expanding individual learns to distinguish between activity and progress, choosing work that makes the future easier rather than heavier. Destiny is not built in moments of motivation. It is built through consistent application of work that expands life. Civilization itself is the accumulated result of such work. Those who neglect destiny-raising work eventually stagnate, regardless of talent. Those who commit to it rise regardless of beginnings. Chapter 16. The Doctrine of Momentum. Momentum is accumulated advance. It is the force that makes tomorrow easier than yesterday. It is created through continuity, not intensity. Most people fail not because they lack ability, but because they lack continuity. They begin and abandon, start and stop, advance and retreat. Each reset destroys accumulated advantage. Momentum transforms effort into inevitability. Once established, expansion accelerates. Resistance decreases. Opportunity appears. Progress compounds. Momentum is built by consistency. Small advances repeated daily outperform dramatic bursts followed by collapse. Intensity exhausts. Continuity multiplies. The loss of momentum is costly. Restarting requires more energy than maintaining motion. The expanding individual, therefore, protects momentum deliberately. Destiny favors the continuous. Chapter 17. The Doctrine of the Possible. Most people underestimate what is possible because they shrink their lives to fit inherited assumptions. Assumptions become limits. Limits become cages. The doctrine of the possible states that capability expands faster than most expect, opportunity appears more frequently than most assume, and the future is more malleable than it appears. Possibility is not fantasy. It is discovered through engagement. Action reveals capability. Attempt expands perception. Motion exposes limits as temporary. The boundary of difficulty moves outward with each advance. What was once impossible becomes routine. What was once intimidating becomes manageable. Possibility cannot be known in advance. It is revealed only through participation. Those who do not act remain ignorant of their capacity. Those who act discover that the world yields. Chapter 18. The Doctrine of the Inevitable. What you make inevitable becomes real. The invincible mind treats outcomes not as questions but as destinations. The doctrine of the inevitable states that when command, structure, and continuity are aligned, the world must eventually yield. Alternatives dilute destiny. Certainty concentrates it. Those who fail often treat destiny as negotiation. They proceed only if conditions remain comfortable or approval appears. Destiny does not emerge from negotiation. It emerges from inevitability. The inevitable is patient, not urgent. Urgency exhausts. Certainty endures. Once inevitability is established, resources align, assistance appears, and resistance weakens. Civilization is built by the inevitable. Those who commit without retreat shape the future. Chapter 19. Failure as voluntary. Failure is not imposed. It is volunteered. The world may oppose you, delay you, frustrate you, or wound you, but it cannot force you to fail. Failure occurs only when the individual withdraws. Retreat is voluntary. Abandonment is voluntary. Resignation is voluntary. Obstacles are inevitable. Opposition is inevitable. Delay is inevitable. Failure is not. Most failures occur not at the point of defeat, but at the point of discomfort. The path becomes longer than expected, harder than anticipated, or lonelier than imagined. At that moment, many choose retreat and later name it fate. Discomfort is not defeat. It is the price of expansion. Those who persist learn that resistance weakens over time. The world resists initial advance but yields to continuity. A person becomes destined for success not by avoiding difficulty, but by refusing to volunteer for failure. Chapter 20. Victory is duty. Victory is not a luxury. It is a duty. To expand is to fulfill life's demand. To win is to uphold the law of growth. Many are taught to view victory as selfish, as though success deprives others. This is the philosophy of scarcity. Civilization disproves it. Every advancement expands the world's capacity. Every structure built becomes available to others. Defeat enriches no one. Stagnation serves no one. Shrinking contributes nothing. Victory builds, and building elevates. Victory should not be treated as accident or indulgence. It should be treated as responsibility. Those who win shape outcomes. Those who shape outcomes carry obligation. The fear of victory is common. People fear visibility, judgment, and expectation. But civilization depends on those willing to stand above the crowd and accept responsibility for direction. To win is to accept responsibility for the future. Chapter 21. Civilization as Project. Civilization is not a given. It is a project. It exists only because individuals expanded, built, and refused to remain small. Every road, institution, technology, and system is the accumulated outcome of individuals who took responsibility beyond themselves. Each generation inherits civilization and decides whether to expand it or allow it to decline. Expansion requires builders, engineers, creators, founders, and leaders. Decline requires only passivity. Cynicism produces nothing. Creation produces progress. Those who treat civilization as finished compete for scraps. Those who treat it as project build futures. To expand yourself is to contribute to civilization. To build is to honor those who built before you. Chapter 22. The New Man. The world has always been shaped by a minority who refuse smallness. The future will be shaped by those who unite command, engineering, and invincibility into a single operating system. The new man is not defined by birth, education, or circumstance. He is defined by capability, responsibility, and expansion. He does not wait for conditions. He creates them. He does not compete for scraps. He builds new domains. He does not retreat from difficulty. He uses difficulty as leverage. He does not ask permission. He advances. He treats destiny as inevitable, work as sacred, and victory as duty. Civilization requires such individuals. The future belongs to them. Chapter 23. Summary of the system. Life expands. You are meant to expand with it. Expansion requires power. Power can be built by system. The system consists of 3 minds. The commanding mind decides. The engineering mind constructs. The invincible mind advances. Together they form an operating system capable of building wealth, influence, domain, and destiny. The expanding individual does not compete for scraps. He creates the unclaimed. He does not wait for permission. He advances. He does not retreat. He persists. He treats failure as voluntary, victory as duty, and civilization as project. He uses responsibility to gain power, wealth to gain force, influence to gain structure, and momentum to gain inevitability. This system belongs to anyone who applies it. It is not reserved for the gifted or fortunate. It is reserved for the expanding. Chapter 24. The practice of expansion. Expansion is not an identity or a declaration. It is a practice revealed only through sustained action over time. Understanding alone does not alter outcomes unless it is converted into execution. The practice of expansion begins with responsibility for outcomes rather than circumstances. Circumstances are encountered. Outcomes are produced. The expanding individual focuses on what can be built rather than what must be endured. Command must be practiced daily through decisions that are executed without renegotiation. Engineering must be practiced through planning, execution, and revision. Invincibility must be practiced through refusal to disengage from motion. Momentum must be protected. Continuity must be prioritized. Expansion favors those who remain in motion long enough for advantage to accumulate. The system does not judge. It does not persuade. It responds. Those who apply it gain force, influence, and inevitability. Those who do not remain governed by chance. The world is not finished. It is under construction. Expand.